Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rene Anand, and I'm the CEO and founder of Neurxstem. Today, myself and Dr. Peter Cruz, who's a medical and scientific business advisor and a fellow of the Royal Society of Medicine in the UK, will be joining us from South Africa. Neurxstem is a predictive and precision genomic brain medicine company, and our goals are early diagnosis and treatment of brain disorders and diseases. Neurxstem is at the cusp of a new promise, and we plan to synergistically address cancer and many debilitating brain disorders, including COVID-19, which now turns out to be a brain disorder because it infects the brain. Let me show you how we plan to do this. So Neurxstem has both diagnostics and therapeutics as its major milestones. It has a total of 5 portfolios. These portfolios surround cancer, which is the focus of this presentation. And we plan to make peace, not war, with cancer. What do I mean by that? We plan to reverse the metastatic state of cancer back to benign and then hopefully to normalcy. And we have 2 other programs, substance abuse and viral brain diseases. And on the right, 2 others, neurodevelopmental disorders and dementias. What you see, the white arrows indicate the intense and very close synergy between these programs. I don't have time to explain how they inform the cancer race. The staggering health problem that everybody now knows and has been articulated well is there are no effective therapies for brain cancer, a devastating disease. And so our goals are to take on both metastatic brain cancer, as well as germline brain cancer that occurs in some types of autism spectrum disorders. We have a singular solution. It's early diagnosis for prevention, and of course, upstream targets that are not currently being looked at for effective therapies. And the core of our whole program is built around this personalized precision cancer medicine. And for example, on the left, I show you where there's a brain cancer patient. We're able to take skin cells from them using a patented process, make brain cancer organoids, which are exactly like the embryonic brain. They're called synthetic brain mimics. And here's a drawing on the right that shows you how closely they resemble the real deal. That's the cerebral hemispheres over there, and that's the optic stalk in the yellow things. So what you really have here is the actual brain with the cancer growing in it, and it's a beautiful model to do everything from diagnostics to therapeutics and drug discovery, all in a single platform, and it's all native. There's nothing else there. And so I'm just going to show you some data on how reproducible we are with these models. This is an identity plot of 13,000 genes expressed in the model, which is very close to about 98% close to what's expressed in the brain. On the left is Alzheimer's. In the middle of the normal person. On the right is a tuberous sclerosis model, which is the tumor cancer model. What you see is these straight lines that are replicas of different organoids, and it's so precise, it has an R-squared coefficient of 0.94. Well, when you have data like this across 13,000 genes, you actually get beautiful patented and licensable, firstly, the platform, early diagnostic markers, and therapeutic targets. So we have about 300 for multi-organ tumors and cancer. We have 900 for autism, which are very synergistic. We also have a whole bunch of them for other disorders that inform us about cancer. And as one of the earlier presenters said, Alzheimer's is one of them. And we have the full blueprint of Alzheimer's already. Our business model is very straightforward. There are 2 steps, project development milestones, and they're basically scaling, validation, and product development. Then we get to the FDA approval process, we get to market entry, we get the inflection points, and then we move towards market revenues through licensing, service, and product sales in about 5 to 6 years. We are launching to transition from a CRO model currently to a pharma in the future. What have we done to do that? We have initiated cooperative agreements on drug discovery with the federal government. And we have engaged clinical centers to advance our FDA-approved clinical applications. Our business forecast, very conservative. Academia at 64 million, the model itself, corporate sales, 80 million. But we believe in about 7 years, we'll be heading towards a $10 to $50 billion annual revenues across all the portfolios, and including cancer. The capitalization, we are funded by an SBIR for an opioid addiction grant. We have 2 submitted ones that are under review. One of them is a cooperative agreement, and a third is a series of planned milestones to get to the FDA approval process. Intellectual property, I'm a holder of 9 patents exclusively held by me on methods and utilities. And we have a distinguished clinical trial advisor and beta clients, Dr. Pudavali, who works on brain cancer, Dr. Klemash on opioid countermeasures, and of course, Dr. Peter Cruz, who's going to talk to you today. We're moving to a paradigm shift in diagnostics. We are not going to do diagnostics when the disease occurs, which is the reactive way. We are heading towards predictive medicine at birth, in a brain in a dish, and we hope to do that for all the disorders, including cancer. The paradigm shift, we're going from therapeutics, we're going away from gravestone markers, which is what pharma is doing. Traditional drugs are antiquated. We are moving to a future human data-guided early targets in therapeutics, which include synthetic mimics of natural RNA, which are polynucleotides, and brain packets of natural RNA, which are called exosomes. And our current stage of development, we have many patents on minimal viable products. Our key performance indicators, I talked about the platform metrics. Our clinical metrics are excellent. We have very extensive corroboration by clinical studies. Our ask today is for Series C through E type investments, for market entry for diagnostic platform, market entry for target validation and therapeutics, and for validated pediatric formulations. Nutrition is a very big part of what we want to do. And I want to close by saying the heartbeat of our business that guides us as a patient advocates. And you can see that Kristen Anthony, who's a survivor of cancer and nurse and mother with children living with autism and cancer. I will now turn this over to Dr. Peter Cruz. Peter? Peter? Did we lose Peter?
He's here. Looks like he's muted.
All right. Good evening. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry for that. An earlier speaker said you were looking for a new approach and new ideas. And I think Renee has shown you we've got a completely new patented platform, which is a novel way of doing brain medicine research. I'm one of 3 clinicians who are medical and business advisors to Neurxstem because I'm a medical doctor with an MBA. I'm a former professor of anatomical pathology and a published cancer researcher with a PhD. A single slide in front of you shows the value proposition for Neurxstem. When I first met Rene and at a healthcare conference in London, I realized that he was unique and that here was an entirely new, disruptive and innovative technology platform which could really advance brain science and particularly brain cancer. I resolved to help him and to add my business experience and joined the team. At Neurxstem, I'm confident that we combine the brain science, the people, the products, and the new markets, as you've seen from Rene's presentation, to create one of those very rare but high impact black swan events. Our team is effectively launching a new biological moonshot. We're ready to use our patented technology, our first mover advantage, and the expert knowledge we've already gained to advance commercial clinical products for several debilitating brain diseases, including cancer. We are capable of rapidly solving many pressing clinical, diagnostic, and therapeutic problems using the mini brain model as a platform. We can also create huge patient and societal value. So please do join us in this incredible venture and help us to change the world of brain science. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee and Peter. So Renee,
yes.
could you please provide a little bit of more details on your background? In particular, some of you mentioned some grants on your one slide. You've gotten a lot of non-dilutive funding. Have you gotten dilutive funding? Could you just maybe go into some details about that? So there's a question.
Yeah, so our first SBIR is on detecting opioid susceptibility, the SBIR. We were then invited to submit a second one on developing drugs and therapeutics on a 5-year plan for $3 million, which is a R61, R33, where we will convert ourselves from a CRO model to becoming the people who actually discover the drugs. So that is our first movement forward. And then I have a number of SBIRs where I have been approved already by the various program officers to put in the SBIR. They're going to do it in a staged manner so that we can get all the information. The next one that is on the list is autism. There's a real reason for that, because our tuberous sclerosis model bridges the gap between a brain cancer and autism. And because we have insight into both, by combining that information, we are very powerfully set up to understand really what happens in tumor biology. By the same token, our Alzheimer's model is equally informative because, as one of the speakers has already talked about, in Alzheimer's patients, it's kind of rare to get cancer. And so we are now able to see the big picture, the genomic circuits that guide all the susceptibility and all the susceptibility to the environment and nutrition. And I'm just going to give you one slide, if you don't mind. That's what it's going to really look like. We're going to have a Google view of the entire genomic functional blueprint of all the diseases, including cancer. Very complex. You're using mathematics to solve it. And we're very excited that we can actually collect the data in a real model that's highly reproducible that you can't do any other way. I hope that answers the question you had.
Yes, yes, thank you. Are there any other questions? We have Renee's information on the screen, so please feel free to directly connect with Renee, or if you'd like us to convene in another way, we'd be happy to do so. So thank you very much, Renee and Peter. Have a good day.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, audience.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.